Good morning. Welcome to Against the Public for February 9th. We're getting on quite a roll with our free plays after another easy winner on Saturday. Let's try to carry that through to Sunday with the selection from the Big Ten. Let's check in on our all-access numbers as we head into Super Bowl Sunday. These numbers do not include Saturday's games, a few, just the games that are prior to the recording of the video. You can hit the link below as usual to see how we did on Saturday. All access members, well, you're on a 9-4 run over the last 24 hours. That adds up to a 7-day total of 40-22, 65% winners, 1,496 units won, number one at Pickdawgz.com. Over the last 30 days, customers have hit 60%. 4,945 units, number one at pickdawgz.com. The reality is, guys, that we just continue to dominate books, so please consider being an all-access member right now. Friday night, 8-1 Friday night, so we'll see how we do on Saturday, but we're on quite a roll, so very thankful and grateful for what we've done so far. I'm Dana Lane. Thanks for joining me. Before we get to your free play, let's just take a look at how Sunday's all-access card is shaping up. And with it being Super Bowl Sunday, we have a small schedule, just 8 games in college basketball. We'll start things off with Xavier and Villanova, 9 o'clock Pacific time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Customers are on a 46-20 college basketball run at 70% winners over my last 66 selections, and that includes a 48-22 run in college basketball totals, 69% winners. Over the last 7 days, 15-8 in college hoops. Number one overall with at least 15 plays. Last 30 days, 62% winners, 57% winners over the last 90 days, over 3,000 units won, and 57% winners this season overall, 3,255 units won. Needless to say, guys, we are torching college basketball odds makers. NBA offers up 3 games. We'll start things off with Charlotte and Detroit, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. We'll have all 3 games on your all-access pass. Talk about doing well on totals. Just overall, 33-13 run. Overall, 1,984 units won. But when it comes to NBA totals, we grabbed our first win on Saturday. We're now 31-8, documented at pickdawgz.com. 80% winners, 2,225 units of profit. 15-5 overall over the last 7 days. That's also number one. 55-36 over the last 30 days at pickdawgz.com. 60% winners. Also number one at pickdawgz.com. Just 2 games in the NHL. Utah, Washington, 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. We'll have a play in both games. And over the last 30 days, NHL customers have enjoyed 57% winners. Number one amongst cappers with at least 35 plays. And the elephant in the room, right now at pickdawgz.com, we know it's Super Bowl Sunday. I have side and total locked and loaded. And in case you've forgotten what we've done in the NFL, because there's been a couple weeks between games, 9-2 over the last 30 days. Number one at pickdawgz.com. 55-39 over the last 90 days. 59% winners, 1,205 units won. Number one at pickdawgz.com. Don't miss out on our NFL plays. We are absolutely smashing the NFL over the last 3 months. So we're going to finish off another winning season, and hopefully we're going to get side and total in the winner circle for you on Sunday. All plays and records are documented at pickdawgz.com for better or worse, so you can jump on there every single day and see how each and every handicapper on this site did. So that adds up to a 10-game schedule for all-access members. Some pretty good reasons why it's time to become an all-access member if you haven't already. Of course, we do have something for everyone, but I always like to tell people and remind people that we have an all-access pass for the next year. 365 days of selections for one low price. It comes out to be $4.11 a day. Gives you every play that I release, and that takes you all the way through next year's NFL schedule, next year's college football schedule, baseball. You get the idea. Just one low price, $4.11 a day. So get to Pick Dawgz, get on one of those all-access passes so we can roll up our sleeves and get to work for you. Okay. On to our free play. Let's head to rotation number 853, 854, Ohio State. Heading to Lincoln to take on the Cornhuskers of Nebraska, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 o'clock Pacific. Nebraska is a small favorite, 1.5-point favorite. With a total of 143.5. Ohio State 14-9 straight up, 14-9 ATS, 13-10 to the under. Buckeyes are coming off that massive win against Maryland as a small favorite to throw some water on the Maryland fire, I guess. It's the Buckeyes' fourth straight up win and fourth straight cover in 5 games, and it really that takes away that bad taste that Illinois left in the Buckeyes' mouth. So they doused Maryland's hopes a little bit, who were just at the peak of their confidence this year, and they really took away that Illinois loss, which probably still doesn't sit too well with them. But I have a feeling they'll face each other once more this season. 3 of the last 4 games have cashed under tickets. Nebraska is 15-8 straight up, 13-10 ATS. 12-11 to the under. Huskers have won 3 straight after their win at Washington. In fact, they swept that 2-game West Coast swing against Oregon and Washington. They won that game by 14 as a 1.5-point favorite. 6 of the last 9 games have gone over the total, and it's been what, since the middle of December, I would think, probably the last 12 games at least, where I have notes. I mean, going back to the middle of December is the first time I have notes that I thought that the Buckeyes needed to tighten up on defense. And really, every game since then, they've had some stinkers along the way, but for the most part, as a whole, they really have played well. And I didn't think they were great against Illinois, but they showed against the Terps that they could bounce right back and hold Maryland to 42% shooting and 3 of 13 from 3. I looked at how they performed after a big game, because the one thing that I always worry about is the letdown factor. And I look at especially in this, when I'm looking at the total in the game, is there a defensive letdown? And for the most part, the Buckeyes have not had a defensive letdown in quite a while. In fact, we've seen them ride solid defensive efforts over multiple games. The recent example of that is their big win against Purdue, and then they came back in an obvious letdown spot and held Iowa to 39% shooting. Even in that recent 3-game losing streak that they had, that was technically a 3-game losing streak, or not even technically, it was. But they lost all 3 games by a total of 5 points, and one bounce here, one bounce there. They win all 3. They did only allow 71 points per game in regulation against Indiana, Wisconsin, and Oregon, and held those teams to 42% shooting. So although they lost all 3 games, still defensively, I thought they played extremely well. Ohio State is 11th in 3-point percentage allowed, which helps us when betting totals, and they're also 44th in defensive field goal percentage in the nation. Speaking of shooting from 3, the Huskers shot 10 of 25, or the Huskers allowed 10 of 25 shooting in their last game, 40%, which doesn't look great on paper, but when you look at it further, Washington started that game 7 for 7. In fact, they could not miss in that game. Well, all of a sudden, they couldn't hit anything. So after the 7-7, they only went 3 of 18, and that's why you can't cap from numbers, because in my book, their perimeter defense was pretty good, but if you just look at the numbers, you would say, oh, not so good there. Yeah, they were really good after that 7 for 7 start. I thought they were more than adequate. And the other thing you have to take into account, too, if I'm Fred Hoiberg, I go back to practice and I say, look, guys, we would have avoided that 10-point first half hole. We wouldn't have had to dug out of that if we just came out with a little bit more defensive intensity. That, to me, will be his focus as a coach in this game against Ohio State. So no matter how you slice it, I think this is a very defensive-oriented game. Your free play for Sunday is under 143.5. Now go to pickdawgz.com. Every individual play, every long-term pass is locked and loaded, including that annual all-access pass for just $4.11 a day. I can't thank you enough for joining me every single day. Please hit that like and subscribe button For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers on Super Bowl Sunday.